Hey everyone, welcome to another Coding with Luce episode. So today I just want to share with you a quick trick that I learned recently from Kim Philpotts at Xamarin University about how you can just make your apps look a little bit more professional, more refined, just make them pop a bit. So obviously the great thing about Xamarin is that it's thin wrappers around the native SDK, so once you actually deploy the app to a phone, all the components look exactly as you'd expect if they were written natively. But, and that's all well and good, so on Android you get your grey box buttons and, you get the transparent ones with blue text by default on iOS. And that's fine, but a white background app can start to look very boring. So one of the things I want to show you is a little trick that I learned just to make your apps look a bit better. So what is that trick? The answer is a background image. Now, you might think, oh, okay, just stick an image in. But, there's just a couple of things that you need to be aware of when you do it, and that's just which layout type you want to use. So I've got an app here already. So this is a body language assistant app that I've been working on to help me read sentiment in messages when I've sent them, and also to analyze body language. So I can take a photo of a person or a face. And it can, well, obviously, of course, a person and a face are the same thing, but I can take a picture of someone else's face or my own, and it will, come back with a probability score of what the emotion is. But that's a whole different topic that I can cover in another video if you want me to. But one of the things that's good for this app, and it's why I thought this is the perfect candidate, is that it has a menu page. So when you first open the app, it has two buttons on the page that you can see here that help you decide which activity it is you want to do. If you click Analyze Text, it takes you to that page. If you click Analyze Body Language, it takes you to that page. So, yeah, at the moment, as you can probably tell from the lack of any other styling really apart from center and expand, this is just a bog standard app, white background, standard buttons. So let's do something cool with it. So what I've done to save time ahead of this video is I've just gone ahead and made sure that I've got the right size images in all these folders. So obviously there are ones in all the other folders as well. So yeah, you got all those there, and any other ones, of course. So just make sure that you've got the right size version of the images in there, and it's the same for iOS as well. It's just in the resources, I've put the standard 2 times and 3 times. So now we've got that image there. What do we do with it? So the first trick is just to make it a grid, but you don't need to define rows, you don't need to define columns, anything like that. All you need to do is surround your stuff with a grid. So let's just tab that in. So you've got this grid and you've got the stat layout, and that doesn't seem to do a lot. But the reason why we put it in a grid is that a grid is a layout that actually supports having extra components like this and sort of on top of each other. Because of course, stack layout is one on top of the other. Relative layout is you're saying where it is in relation to each other, and it starts to get quite complicated. Whereas a grid, it's just a nice, easy way. You just pop an image in as well as the stack layout, so it won't go inside of that stack, it will be outside of it, as you can imagine. So if we just put this in, just a kitten, and then to make it a background image, you just do aspect fill. Oh, fill, not fit, there you go. And it's as simple as that. Just by adding that image with the background, you've just had it there, and it'll be behind the stack layout because it comes first, but it's not in the stack order. And then you've got the background. So if we run it, let's have a look what it looks like. So we'll wait for that to run on iOS. Should bring up the simulator. But yeah, you can see it really is simple. You just stick your layout in a grid, and above the first layout, you just stick an image with aspect fill. And there you go. So, okay, there's a navigation bar at the top, so it looks a bit funny. And you can't read the buttons. But, a nice cute kitten. Who doesn't love kittens? Alright, probably people that are allergic to them. But, a lot of people like kittens. I like kittens, and this picture makes me happy. But we've got this problem here, haven't we, of that the buttons don't look right. So we can just go ahead and we can change the default colour. So text colour, make it bright green, that should be obvious. And do the same for this one. Cool, so if we run that again, there we go. So this is where I should try out live reload, because I wouldn't have had to stop that. Of course, you can use Xamarin Live Player on a real device, or the simulator, of course, which will allow you to not have to stop it and restart it. But I try and keep things as vanilla as possible in my videos, just because not everyone will have these extensions and tools. Xamarin Live Play is free, so I do recommend it, but even so, you might not have it, so just wanted to show you that, just quickly stop it and start it again. So, okay, you can see it, and it's sort of visible, but it's still not great, so you just got to go through and sort of experiment, so we can make the text a bit bigger and change the card to something else. So how about something's going to stand out against that background. Look, magenta might stand out. Let's try it. So yeah, it's just trial and error, just finding the right colour. So let's have a look. Spin it up again and see how it looks. And the other thing we want to do, of course, in a minute, once the colour's right, is just make the text look a bit bigger. But yeah, you can play around with the colours, the sort of location of your elements, whether you want them in the middle like that, or you want the text bigger, so we can. I'm not gonna sit here for ages and play around with that stuff. But yeah, you get the idea. Just stick your stuff inside of a grid with no columns or row definitions. Add an image with aspect fill. Make sure you got it in the different sizes for the different screens on all the platforms that you're using, and it's simple as that. You now have an app that already looks a bit more interesting and exciting than you just get out of the box with a standard white background. So yeah, I hope that was helpful to you, and I will see you again soon.